Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at how do you find values using a function graph. So they give you a graph and how do you sort of read the values on it. Just a reminder, this is the short version of this lesson, so we're going to go pretty quickly just through the main ideas. If you'd like the full length lesson where we go step by step with a bunch of examples, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should already be familiar with how to graph. So if you want a refresher on that, I will link that in the description as well. Okay. So here's a problem. It says plot the point on this function with a y value of 3. So we should be familiar with when they say y values, right? This is the y-axis. This is my x-axis. So a y value of 3. Let's track over to where does it hit the line? And the answer is 6. All right? So another way of thinking this, remember, we can think of this as a coordinate. This is 6, 3, right? And the problem asked us, when the y value is 3, what is the x? Okay, and the answer is 6. For this problem, they use some slightly different words here. They use input and output. And so in function notation, the input is always your x, and your output is always your y. So this is saying if the y value is 3, what is the x value? So again, on the y-axis, we locate 3. And where on the graph are we hitting? It's here, right? And so this is 6, 3. So again, the answer is 6. Yep, same answer. All right, for this one, there are a couple of things going on here that we need to talk about. Number one, notice it says find the solutions. And you can see down here at the bottom, there are actually 3 answers. And then this notation here, we haven't talked about this. So all this says, okay, the letter at the front is the name of the function. So this is function g. Everybody say hello. This, we already talked about this, is the input. All right, x is the input. And then the number over here after the equal sign is your output. So this is saying when the y value is 2, what is the input? Okay, and so when the y value is 2, you'll notice that it hits the graph several times. Here, here, and here. And so what numbers do we hit? 8, right? -2, and -10. Another way of thinking about this is if we were to put this in coordinates, this would be 8, 0. This would be -2, no, I'm sorry. This would be 8, 2. This would be -2, 2. This would be -10, 2. Right? And so these are all the places where we have a y value of 2. So 3 answers. -10, -2, +8. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it is time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, they told us the y is 0, right? Function g, but the y is 0. So we should have gotten -8 and +10. And for the second problem, hopefully a little bit tricky here. Remember, the number in the parentheses, right, next to the letter is the x value. So this is saying when x equals -4, what does y equal? And so that would be +2. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.